Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. On this short segment, I would like to discuss the purpose of these videos. The purpose of these videos. Now, I've been slapping you with the truth for well over 50 videos now, and it's been several years that I've been doing this. My first channel is called Slapping You with the Truth. I've lost the password to that channel, but the minute I'm able to find it or recover it, I will link Slapping You with the Truth. I will link that channel to Slapping You with the Truth 2. That's this channel right here, to link the two. So if you ever want to look at material that was done years past before Slapping You with the Truth, you can look up the video just before Slapping You with the Truth 2. You can look up the channel Slapping You with the Truth. That was the very first channel before this one. Now, the purpose of these videos are simple. Number one is to read and teach this law to the house of Israel and to the stranger. We are to magnify the Most High's law and to make it honorable. We are to cause the house of Israel to consider their ways. We are to cause them to look into this law and to see these curses that were placed upon them, and to have them bear witness to what the Most High have said and what they can currently see with their own eyes today. That way they can bear witness to the Most High's testimony that He is exactly who He is, and that He is doing exactly what He said He would do should we walk contrary to His law. So, these videos are simply to provoke you to study, to provoke you to thought, to cause you to go into this law, to cause you to consider your ways and your doings and return back onto the Most High's law. So now, let's turn to Deuteronomy. Grab your book, Deuteronomy chapter 31, and we will read verse 9 through 13, and that's it. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 31, and we will read verse 9 through verse 13. And verse 9 reads, "And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of Yah, and unto all the elders of Israel. There can be no priest unless he is a Levite. Moreover, not only just any Levite, he has to be specifically of the sons of Aaron." Verse 10, "And Moses commanded them, saying, At the end of every 7 years is the solemnity of the year of release in the Feast of Tabernacles." Verse 11, "When all Israel is to come to appear before Yah, thy strong one, in the place which He shall choose." We don't just assemble any place. The Most High has a specific place, one place, that specifically we are to assemble before Him. "Thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing." So, what I have been doing over the years is reading this law in your hearing. Verse 12, "Gather the people together, men and women and children." Your children are to hear this. There's no profanity in these videos at all, because our children are to hear this law. That way they may do them. "And thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear Yah your strong one, and observe to do all the words of this law." So, you have individuals on the street corners with bullhorns and whatnot, yelling, screaming, cussing, using all manners of profanity towards those of the other nations. Let me reread what our instructions were and are, because the Most High doesn't change. Verse 12, "Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear," because we have to read this law to them and cause them to understand it, and that they may learn. You can't learn something if you don't teach it. You won't learn it if it hasn't been taught to you. And fear Yah your strong one, and observe to do all the words of this law. So, our young men and our young women, as well as our elderly, we have to teach this law. We teach it by reading it. So, many of you have never heard this law. You're too caught up in the lies of the New Testament. But there are some elderly people that has come to this channel and have said this has been a blessing unto them to learn who they are and to learn about the Most High and His laws. And those who are older, who have seen all the struggles and the plight of our people, because they were a part of those hardships, and they see those same hardships today happening to the younger generation, they now have an understanding and a clear comprehension of why all of these things have befallen us. There's nothing greater than finding out exactly who you are and what your purpose is, especially when you have not been told who you are, and when they did try to tell you who you are or who we are, it has been lies. But that is to confirm exactly what Moshe had told us. Our enemies will be discovered to be liars. And that's exactly what they are. They lie about just about everything. Okay, so they were not about to tell us exactly who we are and have us turn to our strong one. That way our strong one will put us above them. They were definitely not going to give us this information. But all praises to the Most High. Due to His mercy, He has allowed us to see this and has brought us to remembrance. And way from the days of old, He has caused our prophets to write books. That way, when we start to think upon the name of the Most High in the many lands of our captivity, we would have a document, records, that will cause us to turn back onto Him and to reconcile that relationship between us and Him. And in doing so, it fixes all of our problems, not some of them, but all of them. So that's the reason why these videos are made, is to cause you to return back onto this law, to cause you to consider all the things that you have seen over the years and all that you are going through personally with your family and with those around you, to consider to yourself, why are you being burnt by fire all around about you? And you have been burnt, and so have your parents before you, etc., etc., etc. And it seems as though nothing has changed. So this is for you to consider. Now, on the video, I've done a video, raise up unto thee a prophet, which makes plain that Joshua, or you may call him Yehoshua, that he is the son of Nun. And is that he, Joshua, or he, Yeshua, the son of Nun, who was the minister or the servant under Moses, it was him that the Most High raised up as a prophet to lead the house of Israel when we went in and we went out. But somehow the Christians and these Romans here in the back of this book want you to believe that that is JC. It is not. No way, no how. And let me throw this disclaimer out there too. On the video, raise up unto thee a prophet, a few days before that video, I was playing golf, kicking around in the weeds because I had lost my ball. I play Pro V balls. They're $50 a dozen. So when I hit my ball in the weeds, I went looking for it, kicking around in the bushes because I didn't want to take a penalty stroke. And I heard the fella say, "Hey man, there's a whole lot of poison ivy over here." I personally don't know what poison ivy looks like. So as I was in the weeds, whacking around, kicking around, using my hands and my feet, trying to locate my ball. Anyway, a few days after that, upon my face, in my hands, my chest, and other places, I had poison ivy. It was unpleasant. So when you look at that video, it's hard for me to even pronounce my words because my lips are swollen and has all kind of bumps on them and everything else. I'm looking crazy on the video because of poison ivy. I no longer have to worry about that specific golf course because it has been closed. So the moral of the story is this. Even though I was not looking like I normally look due to the poison ivy, I still came before you and read this law. I still came before you and read this book. So therefore, this is not a beauty contest by any means, and this is not a means of showing another Israelite, I know this or I know that. One individual had responded to one of my videos. He stated that, well, I clearly understand this portion already, so I didn't even look at the rest of the video. That was his standpoint, that he was already in agreement with a certain part of the video, so, or with the title of the video, so he didn't bother to look at it. One thing we must understand is this. Our governor, who you will call the king, he is to read the law every day. Let me say that again. Our governor, once he's placed back in that governorship, he is to read the law daily, not sometimes, every day. And that is why I encourage you to read every day, skipping no pages, Genesis to Malachi. And when you get to Malachi, you start over again and you read a little bit every day. Why is that? That way you're always mindful of the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. That's number one. Now the king, the governor, was to read every day the law. That way his heart would not be lifted up above his brethren. That way he doesn't become arrogant and complacent. At no time have I ever opened up this book and figured, you know what? I'm going to skip this because I already know this and I'm in agreement with it. Doesn't work that way. So this is not something that we should be doing to impress anyone. We should be doing this to save our own soul, because no one died for you. No one can save you but you. So we are to save our own soul. And to those that are among us, what we're to do is to tell them about this law. And as they ask questions, we should be able to answer them if we're in this book. That way we can encourage them to study and to return onto this law. For in so doing, that's how we get taken out of this captivity. Once we return onto this law. And notice, once we turn to this law, that means one thing. We're going to turn away from everyone else. And that's the key point. As we turn to the Most High, we're going to turn away from all the foulness and the abominations of the nations in which we dwell. You already know your enemies hate you. We know this. But they take pleasure in us trying to be like them and us trying to cleave onto them. The days are coming when we no longer take part in their nonsense, that we don't cleave onto them, that we don't seek to be like them, and that we will seek after the Most High and his laws. And that is the day that they are fearful of. So we're to encourage each other in this law and to do them. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. These videos, if they can be helpful to anyone that you know, send it to them. If you have any questions pertaining to these videos, ask them. Put them below in the box. I'll read them and I'll answer them. If you see the response, if it says lead do on the handle, that's me. If you see it slapping you with the truth on the handle, it's me. Those are both me. I will respond to them if you have any questions pertaining to what you have heard on this channel. So there's no ducking anyone. If you have a question, I will answer it. I've had some individuals that ask a whole bunch of questions. I answer those to the best of my ability, and some may not be pleased with it. So, or may not be satisfied with the answers. If that's the case, turn to the Most High. Okay, that's where I get my answers from, through him and through diligent study and obedience to his law. All right, so if you have any questions, do look at the bottom of the box. And if I make a video, I always go back and listen to the videos. So if there's anything that I've made an error on or misspoke on, I normally get on there and put that correction in there. So if you see Lee Do speaking at the bottom of these videos, that's me. Okay, so that's where I make my corrections, etc. Anyway, 15 minutes. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless.